everyone, and welcome back to my place in Minsk. I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are. Visa extensions, that is the topic of this video, specifically my experience recently extending my visa in Belarus from 30 days to 90 days. And at this period, in this time of pandemic COVID-19 crisis, for many people that are travelling full-time, maybe stuck in another country, or have chosen not to go back to their home country, you may be facing an issue with extending visas. This video is specifically about my experience, as I said. However, there may be some points that come up during this video that might be helpful for you if you are in another country looking to extend your visa. So a bit of a recap first of all. So I know that not all of you will watch previous videos where I have touched on this briefly. I was in Serbia. I was living in Serbia for a few months until about the 8th of March. I then went to see a friend of mine in Sweden for the weekend. And lo and behold, the EU closed all the borders while I was in Sweden, and also Serbia did as well, not in the EU. So I couldn't go back to Serbia, and I didn't choose to go back to the UK, more on that in a little bit. So I decided to go to Minsk, Belarus, because it was the only country in Europe where the borders were open. To clarify a point around why I didn't go back to the UK, there seems to be this belief that returning to your home country is the solution to everything. It's not. You know, particularly if you're someone like me who doesn't have a home in the UK. The UK is not my home. I haven't lived there for 4 years. I don't have anywhere to live there. I need to find somewhere else to stay. And actually, from people that I've spoken to, many of you that are travelling, you have chosen to stay in a country. You're not travelling. Just because you're in another country that isn't your home country doesn't equal travelling, okay? I spend 6 days a week at home working. The other day, I go out to film a video. There are no restrictions or lockdown or self-isolation or anything like that in Belarus. And I think you've seen from the videos I've uploaded from here already, there is no one around me. I'm not interacting with people. It's very deserted. So just to get that out of your head straight away that I'm travelling, I'm not. The most travelling I do is go to the toilet and to bed and to make poached eggs or beans on toast. So obviously extending a visa will depend on the country you're in. This is a new experience for me. So even though I've been travelling full time for 4 years and done a lot of travelling before, I've never been in a position where I've needed to extend a visa. There were a couple of times, once in Thailand and Indonesia as well, where I almost did it, but in the end I decided not to. So this whole experience in Belarus has been very new for me. When it comes to Belarus, you need to have or satisfy various things before you can actually enter the country anyway, regardless of coronavirus. So you need to have medical insurance, you need to have proof of €25 for the duration of your stay, and you need to have an onward flight. Now, with medical insurance, I use Revolut. So if you don't know about Revolut, there's a link down in the description below where you can get a Revolut card. It's basically a digital bank, if you like. I do all of my transactions on there, and they also have a medical insurance, which is great. The other thing, onward travel. We know about onward travel as long-term travellers. We don't always want to book an onward flight because we don't know where we're going to go. So I use Onward. Is it Onward Travel or Onward? It's onwardtravel.com, I think it is. It's down in the description below as well. If you use both of those links, by the way, I do get a bit of money for it, like an affiliate link, but it's up to you. So I did all of those things. I satisfied all of those things, but ultimately they didn't actually ask me any of those things anyway when I entered the country. But better to be safe than sorry, right? So that's the regulations to get in to Belarus. But when it comes to extending your visa, I did get told that, I just need to stay here and that's it, and it's the government's extended it to 90 days. That was not the case. The UK embassy, which is just around the corner, told me that I still needed to apply for a 90-day exit visa, otherwise I would not be able to leave the country. So getting your exit visa in Belarus is a 5-step process. Number 1, contact your embassy. More than likely at this period they will be closed, so contact them on Facebook, which is what I did. They clarified with me where I needed to go and the fact that I did actually need to apply for it. The second step was to look up where your nearest citizenship and migration office is. In Minsk itself, there are about 10 of them, so you just need to clarify again with your embassy, give them your address, and they'll tell you which one you need to go to. Step number 2, go to the citizenship and migration office. And a big tip, and I'll cover some more tips later, is that if you don't speak Russian, or whatever country you're in, if you don't speak the local language, write on your phone and translate it into that language a simple explanation of why you're there, and it works. At least it worked for me. And they will give you various registration forms which you need to give to your Airbnb host or whoever you're staying with, and 3 pieces of paper which tell you how much you need to pay. Yes, you need to pay. It's not a free visa extension. Right, I've been given these. I've got to fill these out, pay these amounts. It's about 150 Belarusian rubles, which I think is about £50. and I've got to come back here with Eleonora on another day. As long as it's before the 17th, it should be fine. It comes to about 150 Belarusian rubles, which is about £50 and $60, if I remember correctly. That's the first step, so take them home. It was the second step, but step 3 is pay for your visa. So go with your Airbnb host with those pieces of paper, which she or he will fill out, and you have to pay at a bank. So you'll get 3 printouts, which actually I've got, 1 second. Yeah, 3 printouts that they give you at the bank to show that you have paid for your visa. The next step is around medical insurance. So when you extend your visa in Belarus, they don't accept medical insurance policy documents in English. You have to get them translated into Russian. Another alternative is you can just go and buy Belarusian medical insurance, but from my experience, it costs about €50, ridiculously expensive. So you can go to another place to get your medical insurance officially, professionally translated into Russian. That only costs 25 Belarusian rubles, which is about £8, $10, so it's considerably more affordable. Hello everyone, I'm in a lift and I have my English copy of my medical insurance and Russian. Brilliant. The final step, step number 5, is to take your Airbnb host or whoever you're staying with to the migration office. They need to fill out the forms that you got on the first visit, and basically it really helps having that person there because they can talk in Russian. You don't have to worry about the whole drama, and basically you wait about an hour and they give you an exit visa on a blank page in your passport. So you're good to go. Brilliant. You can stay in Belarus for 90 days. So I'm now here until the middle of June, potentially. I'll have to keep checking what's going to happen in terms of borders opening, things like that. But some tips. Let's give you some other tips. As I said, having someone that speaks Russian is really important. Without that, this would have been a disaster. The second tip is around the fact that as an Airbnb host in Belarus, they need to register you online with the local migration office, and as an Airbnb host, they need to pay the government a certain amount of money when they have a guest. So it's in their best interests for them to come with you. So don't worry about, oh, they're not going to help me, because my Airbnb host has been an absolute gem. And the third one is a bit of an obvious one. Make sure you have a blank page in your Facebook, in your passport, and it has at least 6 months validity. Like when we go anywhere, you always have to have 6 months. And the last one, which definitely applies to all visa extensions, if you know what I mean, be patient. It's not going to be a 5-minute job that takes, half an hour, if you know what I mean. It's going to take time. Be patient, don't kick off because it's taking a while. It's a different country. It's not something, the pace might be a bit slower than you may be used to. So just keep that in mind. You'll get there in the end. I did. Brilliant. And lastly, the point about not going back to the UK. You see in the thumbnail that I said I ignored the UK embassy. Yes, the UK embassy have said that all British nationals should be going back to the UK. But for me, that's just not the solution. As I said, I don't have anywhere to stay there. I can't afford it, to be honest with you. But I'm not travelling, so I'm in one place. I'm not risking the lives of others by going out every single day. I only go to the supermarket every couple of days to get some food, things like that. So, if you're thinking that, oh, we need to go back home because everyone else is going home, it's not necessary. This is my home right now, all right? So, yeah, you don't necessarily have to follow what the embassy says. I can't believe I'm saying that because you should. I should be being a good YouTuber and saying it, but that's the reality. I didn't do it. It worked for me. So thanks for watching. I hope that's helped anyone that is stuck in Belarus. Probably not many of you, but never mind. Yeah, I think Indonesia was a bit of a drama because it was kind of similar when you have to go to various places again and again to get your visa unless you use an agency. I think Thailand's a bit simpler. You take, I think it was like 1900 baht or something, you can go and extend your visa. Obviously the other option is do a visa run, which I can't do at the moment. I could have gone to Lithuania or Poland and back again, but I can't because they're closed. Fantastic. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Lovely.